Owie, wowie!
Let me give you all a date, and no, I'm not talking about the actual food date. October the 24th, 2017. That was the date where I started making top 10 videos, and the first list was based on my favorite video games of all time. So fast forward to just around 8 years later, and it's time to talk about some of the worst video games I ever played in my life. I will not be including games developed by Phoenix Games, Minus Games, or even games from Telltale. And I also won't be talking about these cheap clicking shovelware games like My Name is Mayhem, for example. I'm looking for actual games with a decent amount of gameplay to it. The following games I'm about to mention are just some of the most unbearable games I've played, wasting much valuable time. And speaking of time wasting, let me show you on how to repair your PlayStation 2 disc. Hello and welcome to How to Clean Your Disc. So you want to grab any PlayStation 2 disc with a lot of scratches. I'm using Madagascar for example. Put some toothpaste on it, then wipe it around with a damp shirt, then clean and dry it off as best as you can. And now, the moment of truth. God damn it. Just remember that this is all based on personal opinions on what I think is considered mediocre. And with that said, let's begin. Number 10. We're starting off with a video game I have reviewed earlier this year, being Scooby-Doo Mystery Mayhem. Link in description if you want to check that out. But to keep it brief, I haven't played Mystery Mayhem for quite a long time as a kid, and I thought to myself that playing this game nowadays, I would still have that good old nostalgia feeling. Well, I thought wrong. The game overall was just unbearable to play through the longer I went on. The game's lack of direction when you progress is almost non-existent, the vehicle control handling sucks donkey ass, and the idea of saving your game in Mystery Mayhem is strange. While it's not the worst video game, but this game is one of the few that made me physically rage quit. That's another potential top 10 video. And in level 4 in the motorcycle stage, that was the final straw for me. Number 9. Okay, so now it's time to select a Crash Bandicoot game. After looking back at my catalogue of Crash Bandicoot games, I came to the conclusion that if there's one Crash Bandicoot game I can't stand, it's Crash Tag Team Racing. I will admit, the game does try to be unique by combining platforming and racing together, but it's a shame that the execution did not work. The open sandbox areas are pretty bland, the racing itself is not good with its racetrack design and control handling, and look, Crash Tag Team Racing does have its moments here and there, but if the only good part about this game is to play bowling, then I am not impressed. Hopefully this will be the last time I talk about Crash Tag Team Racing, and I'm still not making a top 10 Crash Tag Team Racing racetracks. I'm really... God damn it, I probably will be at some point. Number 8. I have learned to forgive Fallout 3, and I can go on to say that it's not the worst Fallout game I ever played in my life. No, sir. That title belongs to Fallout 4. I was really hyped for this game before launch, and while I did spend hours upon hours to receive a platinum trophy at the end of it, #trophy goals, but I won't and can't ignore the sacrifices of what made Fallout successful in the first place. The role-playing aspect is lacking with a limited of options to have conversations with NPCs, the open world doesn't feel like a wasteland as it's more of a theme park if I'm being honest, and the story is just not that interesting to me. I pretty much avoid the story so I can build settlements and upgrade my weapons. Other than that, I can't stand Fallout 4, and yes, I will be talking about this game at some point in the future. But if Preston talks about a settlement needing some help one more time, I swear to God... Number 7. Spyro Enter the Dragonfly, probably the most infamous video game and arguably the most talked about video game for all the wrong reasons. Developed by two companies that had never produced video games before, Enter the Dragonfly was met with a lot of negative reception due to a rushed development cycle and the horrible frame rate. I have grown to appreciate Enter the Dragonfly for how hilarious the game can be at times because of its flaws, but don't get me wrong, it's still a shit video game. Less levels to explore, the minigames suck, and it's an absolute torture to capture dragonflies. It had a lot of potential, but with the game not having enough time and a lack of experience from two developers is what caused the beginning downfall for the Spyro series.
Number 6.
It might sound a little strange placing a sports game in this list, let alone a NRL game in Rugby League Live, but there is a reason for this. After playing Rugby League 3 for the Nintendo Wii, I absolutely loved that game, and myself and my brother have replayed that game over and over again. So I believe we were keen on playing the next game in the series, but it turns out to be a massive downgrade. The graphics looked like garbage, the gameplay felt sluggish, and the biggest crime, in my opinion, is that there is no franchise/career mode. A very forgettable game in the series with hardly much options/game modes, and being the first NRL game on the PlayStation 3, it should have taken the series to a bigger height. But instead, it goes into the sin bin. Bad video game. Bad. Go sit in a corner and think about what you did.
Number 5.
You know what's worse than a forgettable game? A video game that is boring. With that said, here's Lake. A game I thought would be a short, chilled game to obtain a platinum trophy, but instead it becomes the most tedious and exhausting games I've played in some time. Mainly, it's due to the driving. It's so slow to get around and deliver mail to the local folks. Not to mention that it becomes a drag when you start talking to the residents and get to know them. I literally had zero care. But the music. Oh, Jesus, mother of God, the music is very annoying. I still get haunted by the OST to this very day. After getting that platinum trophy, I refuse to go back to that game for any particular reason. Except for making this video, of course.
Number 4.
I absolutely love and adore the Ratchet & Clank series, and while there has been a couple of stinkers out there like Ratchet & Clank 2016 and Ratchet & Clank Balloon fucking Tower Defense, nothing will ever top Secret Agent Clank. Who asked for this? Someone please tell me who even thought that a standalone Clank video game was a good idea. Sure, Clank sections have been a mix between fine to good with puzzle solving and platforms to overcome, but this game was just unnecessary. The story is cliche and predictable, the gameplay is just not that interesting to me, and the rhythm sections can fuck right off with its lazy attempt of a James Bond movie. There was a reason why I only played this game a small amount of times back in the day, and it's because I realized how pointless this game was that it was only released for a quick buck.
Number 3.
I'll admit, the Simpsons video game series have always dealt the hand of unlucky. Out of every video game of The Simpsons out there that has succeeded was Hit and Run. But we're not talking about that game. Instead, here's the Simpsons Wrestling. I don't know who was smoking what at this point, but man, it was so unbearable to play. And even replaying it now, it's still not a fun game to play. The game doesn't feel like a wrestling game as it's more of a button-mashing fighting game, the game looks horrible, and the gameplay is rubbish. And another biggest sin this game does is you can pin your opponent laying on their stomach. And as a wrestling fan, that is extremely insulting to me, but despite my hatred for The Simpsons Wrestling, it's not the worst Simpsons video game out there.
Number 2.
That title belongs to the Simpsons Skateboarding. And yes, I know this is breaking the one game for a franchise rule in countdown videos, but I mean, come on, you can't do one without the other. The Simpsons Skateboarding should have worked. It could have been something special because skateboarding works in the Simpsons' favor, but instead, you have an unplayable garbage mess. The controls are not responsive, it's difficult to move your character around, and overall, it's a piss poor take on a beloved video game series titled the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series. I should totally play those games one day. There has been no love and zero passion put into the developing process, and trust me when I say this was going to be the #1 spot as the worst video game I ever played, but then I remembered a different type of video game.
Number 1.
And so, the #1 spot and the worst video game of all time, in my opinion of course, belongs to WWE 2K20. I promised myself that I would never play it again, but here we are. I have a personal grudge against this game, as I have demonstrated this time and time again. Wrestling video games are meant to be fun with a fast-paced action of a wrestling match combining with a ton of game modes to partake in. But 2K20 offers none of that. Instead, you have gameplay that is slower than your lamb roast crockpot recipe, my career mode sucks so bad, universe mode was boring, and of course, the insane amount of bugs and glitches the game had on day one. I stated this so many times and I am going to repeat it. The fact that 2K Sports knew the game was not ready for release, but they still went ahead anyway and zero care was brought into the head of the table. That is why WWE 2K20 is the worst video game I ever played and the worst video game of all time. And that was my top 10 worst video games I ever played. Let me know in the comments on your bad experience with video games and which one would you consider as the worst video game of all time. But anyways, that's going to wrap up this video. I thank you all so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, then make sure to leave a like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you are new. My name is Justin Hurst, telling you to keep calm and keep playing video games.